What is going on, guys, and welcome to episode 2 of the BPL show. It is back. We should have done an episode last week. We didn't. My fault. So I do apologise about that. If you want to see a replay of this episode, then you can. Check it out on the Mr. FIFA Cam channel. You may even be watching it on there. It comes Saturday at 12 p.m. on the Mr. FIFA Cam channel. But if you want to watch it ever so slightly earlier, the previous day, then go subscribe to the Mr. Footy Cam channel, where some of you may be listening to. That will come live at 7 p.m. every single Friday. So that's your kind of news there. Just want to say on the Mr. Footy Cam channel, there are a couple of new series starting this week. One that is going to be all about transfers. I'm going to be talking about any big transfer rumours, giving you my opinion on the legitness of them. Is that the right word? I can't believe I just used that word. Legitimacy of the rumour, whether the rating of how likely it is kind of to happen, etc. So that's going to be happening, as well as I'm going to be taking an in-depth look and predicting the season for all 20 Premier League sides. I'm going to be doing that alphabetical order, starting with Arsenal in the first episode. So that's a lot to look forward to. Lyle, unfortunately, can't be with us. However, we've got a new guest, one that you probably have recognised. He's been on some of my videos on other channels previously. It's Harry. He was a Norwich fan. Hi, great way to introduce yourself. Now, Fantasy Football Premier League. I said about a league and about a code last week. I've created the league. The code will be in the description. I'll read it out just for the sake of reading it out. It's 46645-1. Oh, Jesus, I've dropped my thing. 183693. I may have added an extra one in there. If I have, then just look in the description quite simply and just copy and paste it. So if you want to go join that, there will be prizes, etc. And if you want to know exactly what the prizes are for that, then there will be a video explaining all the rules, etc. In the next few days on every single channel that's got anything to do with football. So yeah, that's to look forward to, or that's something you can join and get involved in. I've completed now my fantasy football team. Obviously, you can tweak it, and I probably will do, because I mean I think I've got Jordan Henderson inside, so I mean that he cannot.
We're not going to talk too much about fantasy football. Actually, you know what? I'm going to run you through my team at the moment, and it is subject to change. John Ruddy in goal, good old Norwich keeper. We've got Elliott, who's the other goalie. I think that's the Newcastle backup. Just going to get there because he's cheap. In defence, I've got Klein, Ivanovic, Cresswell, Basong, good old Basong, and Wes Morgan as well. In midfield, we have got Nathan Redmond completing the Norwich quota. Eden Hazard, Henderson, which I hope to change. Tadic, again, one that I'm a bit iffy on whether to keep him in. And Coquelin as well. And up front, we've got Harry Kane's what I meant to say there. Diego Costa and Christian Benteke, not Christopher. So that is my team at the moment. That will most probably change. I'm quite happy with the strike force, to be honest with you. I'm not too happy with the midfield. So stuff to tweak there. I'm quite happy with Redmond and Hazard, but not necessarily Henderson and Tadic. But anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about everything Premier League, really. And we'll start. I don't want to talk too much about transfers in regards to rumours, because, well, there's a new series coming for that. But the big one this week, I think you would probably argue, has been John Stones to Chelsea. Number one, my first question: do you think it will happen? Number two, do you think it is would be a good thing to happen, if that makes any sense?
Well, I would say I could see it happen if Everton were not so sort of set on keeping him. You know what I mean? Because by the looks of things, you'd have to pay a hell of a lot of money. A ridiculous amount of money, a needless amount of money to buy him, which would be ridiculous. There is a certain level where you've got to say stop. That's
okay. So I asked you the question: what price would you pay for John Stones if you were Chelsea?
Well, I thought that the initial 20 million bid was reasonable.
Yeah.
So
you wouldn't go much further than that.
Price for a young player like him.
You wouldn't go much further than 20 million.
Not much further, no.
Well, then I can quite simply say that you could never really be a manager who would expect to get English players in, because at the end of the day, you cannot get English players for a cheap price anymore. John Stones is going to cost 30 million in excess. It is the premium with English players. Mourinho has quoted it this week: to buy an English player in the market as it is, you have to pay 30 million. Is John Stones worth 34 million when you compare him to other European defenders? No, but he's English, and the rule that Greg Dyke has put in means that because you've got to have a certain amount of homegrown players, that they are going to be more expensive. I think we should get him. I think we should go out and pay 30 odd million for it. I don't necessarily think that it's a great price, but he's English, so it's a price that I expected. Sterling was worth, what, 49 million? John Stones, I think, has got, you know, as a defender, as good as potential as him. I'd just go out and buy it. I'd go and get the deal done. It's an investment. It's not something that, well, I suppose it's not an investment because I don't think we'll sell him on. But it's a player that's not just going to play one season. He's a player that is going to develop and hopefully be the new John Terry. Dare I say it, at the club. I don't think he'll ever be as good as John Terry, but is the replacement for John Terry. So I think we should do it. Whether I think it will happen, I'm still 50-50. The bookmakers are swaying to it happening. I'm not so sure. I don't know what the fuck you were doing, Harry. You're making me laugh. So for me, yes, it is a big fee, but every English player has a big fee. Look at Adam Lallana last year. I think the only one that's really shocked me with how cheaply they got it was Nathaniel Klein to Liverpool. I do think that was one of the best bits of English business in the league so far this season, or in the transfer window. But John Stones to Chelsea, I'd like to see it happen. Whether it will or not, who knows. And Kurt Zouma and John Stones in 5 years, can you just imagine it? It could be something. It could be the best centre-back partnership in the world. I'm going to put it out there if it happens. So that's probably been the biggest transfer rumour. The Ramos one seems to have died off, as I expected. The De Gea one seems to have died off, which is a little bit of a shocker. We'll quickly talk about your side, Norwich City. I'm going to the first game of the season, Norwich versus Crystal Palace at Carrow Road. So it'll be a good game. Are you happy with their transfer business so far?
No.
I expected that answer.
Well, you know, it's difficult because we're not a very well-known sort of side in the Premier League, so I suppose it's not very attractive for players to come in and play for us. But
Bournemouth are getting signings in. Watford are getting signings in. Norwich have been in the Premier League. Bar last season, they were in the Premier League. What was it, for a three-year stay? They have pretty much been at the last 5 seasons. They've been in the Premier League 4 times. They are a Premier League side, in my opinion. So,
yes, I've always said that.
So the attraction, yes. I don't think it's a case of attraction. I don't necessarily think it's a case of money.
That was a quote from Alex Neil about that.
I personally just don't think that you've found the players that or you haven't really got any targets. I don't quite know what's happening. I mean, Robbie Brady.
Here's the thing about Robbie Brady. I like him for the right price.
What's the right price again? I'll ask you that question
again.
The right
price is between two and maybe 5 million.
Well, I mean, I think Hull have rejected, what is it, a 7 million bid now?
I know, but
I think you're probably looking at maybe 8 or 9 million for Robbie Brady, which for me seems a bit extortionate. However, he has got Premier League, experience. It's his signing, at least, So far, I mean, you've made the permanent capture of Graham Dorrans, which I think is good, personally. Malumbu as well on a free. He can never... That's a bargain. He's a free. He's got Premier League experience. He had a few injuries, I think, at West Brom has kind of pushed out the side. But at the end of the day, I think he's a top player. What else do you need, do you think? You're saying that you need new signings. You want new signings.
Well,
what and where?
We need a striker. More importantly, a centre-back.
Yeah.
And then another one. Well, in my personal opinion, other than that, we just need one big marquee signing to cap off and make us look like more of a threat to the other teams.
Well, I mean, I look at Aston Villa, for example. I know Aston Villa. I see what you're saying about the attractiveness, and Norwich. I know it hurts me to say it, but if the players offered Norwich or Aston Villa, more than likely they will choose Aston Villa. Which,
well, here's the thing: Aston Villa have never been relegated from the Premier League.
Exactly. But they've got this IU, haven't they, for what, 12 million? So it proves that you can sign... Bournemouth have proved that you can sign players. Obviously, you're not going to go in for Tyrone Mings for obvious bloody reasons. But, there are players out there, Alonso, or is it Alfonso or Alonso or someone like that. That's been linked, but, I mean, I look at Martin Olsen. Surely he's better than him. Why would you need... I mean, it's strength in depth. And surely you're signing players in positions that you don't necessarily need.
Exactly. I don't know what we're doing.
But, I do agree that you need a striker. You've been linked with Ricky Lambert, which I think would have been a good signing. He seems to be heading to West Bromwich Albion. Bamford you were linked with. Nothing came of that. There was a weird striker from Spain that you were linked with. Forget his name. It's whether you're going to put all your faith in Cameron Jerome and Lewis Graben, Ricky Van Wolfswinkel and Hooper.
Lewis Graben's not Premier League quality. I don't care what you say.
So at the moment, you are not happy with Norwich's transfer business?
No.
Okie dokie. We'll move on from that topic. At the moment, I do think, and it pains me to say it, that Norwich City are a big contender for relegation. I don't personally think they'll get relegated, but I'm a tad bit biased with that. So, Watford and Bournemouth will stick with the relegation sides. Both of them have made a lot of signings. Which team, in your opinion, stands more of a chance of staying in the division?
I mean, even though Bournemouth have made a lot of signings, I still think Watford have the mentality and the drive to stay up more because they've seen what Bournemouth are doing in the transfer window, and you've got to believe that they've got to think we're the underdogs here. Let's give it a good go, and that's just team mentality. You don't need signings for that.
Well, see, I personally think that Watford are going to get relegated in this division. I think they're really going to struggle in the Premier League. I think Bournemouth.
Here's the thing. I feel like Watford are going to have. Well, they're going to get relegated anyway, but I think they're going to finish up above Bournemouth.
Really? So you think both teams are going to get relegated?
Yeah.
Them
and Aston Villa or Sunderland.
See, I think Leicester. Are in a little sort of bother. They've lost Cambiasso, and people overlook that. But he was by far their most influential player. Not just on the football pitch, he'd done a fantastic job, but he is a leader. He has experience, he is a leader, and that is a huge loss for them. An absolutely gigantic loss. What we will quickly do now is we're going to go through the teams, starting with Arsenal, and just say their ins and their outs. We'll probably more than likely just say their ins. Arsenal have made one signing, and all of a sudden everybody's saying that they're one of the favourites for title. Or so, should I say, everyone, Arsenal fans on Twitter. Petr Cech from Chelsea, £10 million. I don't think there's anybody in the world that would say that that's a bad signing. It pains me to see him in an Arsenal shirt, but I think that is a good sign for Arsenal. But I still feel they're missing a couple of players.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think they're missing a defensive midfielder, a centre-back, and a proper, what I would class as world-class striker, like Ricky Lambert.
There you go.
So, moving on then to Aston Villa. Say what you want about them. Their business so far hasn't been that bad. They've bought Mark Bunn from Norwich City.
Mark Bunn is an absolute
I did not know that deal had gone for. I did not know anything about that. It's the first time I heard about it. That I can't say his name. Is it Gayu or Gayu? Guy from Lille, undisclosed.
Gay, depending on where you're from.
Jordan Amavi. I'm terrible pronouncer. That's from Nice. Micah Richards. Micah Richards to Manchester City. Good signing in my opinion. He's a top signing. I was surprised he didn't go to a side like Liverpool. That's honestly who I thought he would go to. And Scott Sinclair as well.
I wanted him at Norwich.
Obviously Scott Sinclair was on loan at the end of the season. And obviously it looks as if they're going to get this IU as well. Villa have done good business, but I think the big thing about it is the players that they've lost. Christopher Benteke and Fabian Delph. Huge. I keep calling Christopher, I don't know why it is. Christian Benteke, 32 million. Fabian Delph, 8 million. They're big players to lose.
Yeah, Shay Given.
Shay Given, a huge player to lose. But I do think, especially Fabian Delph, it is going to be a big effect. It will be interesting to see how they do. They always seem to manage to stay up, which pisses me off, but I'm sure Tim Sherwood will do something right. Bournemouth-wise, Tyrone Mings for 8 million. Quite a lot of money for Tyrone Mings, but he was linked with Arsenal.
He's not worth it.
He was linked with Arsenal last January, so you've got to say, it's not a bad... Sylvain Distin, experienced centre-back. Artur Boric, obviously was there last season, done very well for Southampton. I think it was a...
Two goalkeepers.
Well, technically, yeah. They've also bought Adam Frederick. I cannot pronounce names today. Yeah, from Reading. Joshua King from Blackburn Rovers. Yeah, so that's not technically, there or there. Christian Atsu again, subject to Premier League approval. Whether that will go through, I would have thought it will. Though I don't understand why it's not going through at the moment. But and then we've got Filippo Costa. So God knows who the hell he is, but he may do well for them. Outwise, no one particularly of note really that's going to affect it. Chelsea, Falcao, Begovic, Nathan, and this Pantic, who's gone straight back on loan. Who's a Jesus fucking Christ he is, I'll never know. I'm not particularly content with our business at the moment, but I'm not too disappointed. We were the best team by a long shot in the Premier League last season, so you know, we just need to add a bit of strength in depth, and that should hopefully be okay. Crystal Palace have made, arguably for me, some of the best business this summer. Patrick Bamford on loan. Want to talk about that quickly? What a signing that is.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously Norwich were linked to him, and I'm a bit disappointed that we missed out on that, because that could be the it factor we needed up front, which is a bit of a shame.
It is a shame. I was hoping he was going to go to Norwich. I mean, I was on the phone to Mourinho and Alex Neil trying to get the deal done, but it just wasn't to be. And I think the main factor with the choice of Bamford going to Palace was the whole London factor. He said that he wanted to stay in London. A great signing for Palace though, and I think they'll do very well this season. Another.
Oh, here comes a Joe Kinney, a favourite of mine, is old Johan Kebab.
I mean, what a signing that is. I mean, a lot of people are going, oh, I don't know whether he'll do very well. If he gets to anywhere near what he was like at Newcastle, that's a phenomenal signing. You know, 10 million rising to 13. I didn't know Crystal Palace had the money. Unbelievable sign, in my opinion. How well do you think Kabay will do?
I think Kabay will do quite well, especially under his old manager Pardew. I mean, I think that'll be good, that they'll have instant chemistry there and it will start to click. I mean, I can't click, but it will click.
It will click. I think another big, obviously, is Alex McCarthy as well, which I don't think is a bad sign. I think the big thing, though, with Crystal Palace now in this transfer window is trying to keep hold of Balassi. I think that's huge for them. I think they really do need to keep hold of him. At the moment, they've kept hold of him, and at the moment, Crystal Palace looking in good stead. Everton, a side that disappointed last year, considering the season before that, they brought in Gerard Deulofeu for 4.25 million, which is for me again one of the deals of the summer.
This next signing after him was very cleverly done.
I can't quite believe you said that. Tom Cleverley to Manchester United for a free, and the last player.
No idea.
No idea personally. Perhaps he is a top player. They obviously lost Distan as well. Alcaraz has finally been allowed to go. He'll probably have another fucking 1 year contract signed. It wouldn't surprise me. But I do still feel Everton are missing a couple as well. Personally, but Deulofeu, what do you think of that for a signing, especially for the fee?
That's an absolutely quality signing, especially for that sort of small amount of money. Deulofeu, I think, has the potential to become something really special.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how long Everton will be able to keep hold of him. I think that's a big question with him. But I mean, they're going to be making profit when they sell him, if they sell him, because I don't think this guy's going to get a lot worse. Unbelievable sign, in my opinion. Moving on to Leicester City, a side that for me, I've got a sneaky suspicion they may go down. Robert Hoof, the permanent catcher of him, obviously done a decent job at thingy. Nothing too much to say about that. Then the Okazaki from. I don't think that's a bad signing personally. And then we've got Fuchs, or as many people call him, Fuck or Fucks.
His name is Christian Fuchs. Christian
A free signing. Whether he'll play or not, I don't know, because I thought Schlupp was very good for them.
He's a solid left back.
I still do think that Leicester City need some signings, and I think the big one for them is the fact that Cambiasso will not be signing a new contract with them. Very disappointing if you're a Leicester City fan. Liverpool-wise, they have bought the whole world in regards to Championship players. Christian Benteke then, good signing or not? Will he fit the bill at Liverpool and for 32.5 million?
I have a feeling he's got a very similar playing style to Mario Balotelli, which is very lazy, off the ball movement. So we'll have to see how he sort of fares in that sort of situation. I mean, obviously, we've got a text, but no, we've got he's thrown me off. He's a higher quality than Balotelli, so I reckon he'll do well.
You reckon Christian? I don't think he'll suit the style. I really don't. I think 32 million is a big transfer fee. It'll be interesting to see nonetheless. I think it is kind of what Liverpool need. The amount of strikers they've got though is fucking ridiculous. They're surely going to get a few out of the way. James Milner on a free. Another one that I think has probably been another one of those really good deals of the summer. I really wanted Chelsea to go for him. I know that a lot of people laugh when I say that, but I think James Milner's a top signing. Danny Ings, no fee yet has been agreed. I reckon it'll probably be about 10 million. Is he... I mean, you put a tweet out about it. I can remember when he signed, and I think you said something along the lines of, "Is he Champions League quality?" What is your answer to your own question?
Well, no. Danny Ings is a very... He obviously is a proven goal scorer in the Premier League, as we saw last season. He scored a lot of goals, but I don't think he can do that on the European stage.
Oh, and I think the fact is he scored a lot of goals for Burnley, who relied on Danny Ings, and everything was Danny Ings. It was all Danny Ings. So a lot of people go, "Oh, he scored," like Charlie Austin. Oh, he scored. I think Charlie Austin done a fantastic job last season, but he scored a lot of goals with QPR. But and that's extraordinary. But at the same time, you could look at it on the opposite side and go, well, he's their star man. It's everything's through Danny Ings or Charlie Austin, and that's why they score so many goals. It's an interesting signing. Personally, if I had to choose between Danny Ings and Charlie Austin, I would probably choose Charlie Austin. Just my personal opinion. He is young. He has got potential. He's scoring a lot of goals in pre-season, to be fair. I thought I'd add that in before any Liverpool fans come out with that comment. He is scoring a lot of goals, but at the end of the day, it's pre-season. That is a question I want to ask you at the end of season, at the end of this episode about pre-season. I'll do that in a minute once we've finished going through that. Roberto Firmino, 21.3 million, could rise to about 29 million. As good as a signing as Liverpool fans seem to be making out, or do you just think he is just a decent signing?
I think he's a solid signing, don't get me wrong. Obviously he's got quality, as you can see from internet montages.
Yeah.
But I don't think he can keep up with quite the
hype,
gaping hole that's been left by obviously the quality of players that have left Liverpool.
Yeah.
Obviously Steven Gerrard, Sterling, and Glenn Johnson.
I look at it and
that's the question. I'm impressed that he's a young, obviously quite skillful player.
Yeah.
But if he does the job at the end of the season, then I'll be impressed.
Yeah. Coutinho and Firmino, can they play in the same team?
It depends.
Because I look at it, and I said this to Callum, who is a Liverpool fan, who hopefully will get on an episode. I said, can they play in the same team because they want to play in the same place? And he came back with, you can play two central attacking midfielders in the same team. And I said, you can, but this is not FIFA. This is not FIFA. You cannot have two number 10s playing where they want to.
It's just like when the old sort of saying that England team Lampard and Gerrard could never really play together.
Yeah.
It'll probably be like that with Coutinho and Firmino.
I think it will be, personally. That's how I personally feel. And then it'll be a case of, will you pick the Firmino or will you pick Coutinho? Pre-season performance, and I mean Brendan Rodgers, I think he does rotate the team quite a lot, so perhaps it will work. It'd be interesting. I'm very interested to see how Roberto Firmino goes, but 29 million, if it does rise to that, does seem quite a big fee. Nathaniel Klein, about 10 million. I'm hearing.
I feel like that is the best piece of business done in this transfer window so far.
Well, I don't necessarily think it's the best business done, but I think it is.
I think so.
I think it is up there personally. It's not. It is a good signing. No one can say it's not. I think I'm surprised Man United didn't go in for him personally. And Liverpool fans will hate me for saying this, but I think if United would have gone in for him, I think he'd have joined United rather than Liverpool personally. So I think United missed a trick. I think Chelsea missed a trick. But yeah, good signing for Liverpool. We've then got Joe Gomez from Charlton. I mean, he's a good signing, but he's not really good.
That's a bit of a random one.
It is a random one, same as Adam Bogdan. Championship signings for a championship side in the future. That's what I say. But anyway, Raheem Sterling, 49 million to Manchester City. What a bit of business for Liverpool.
Well, yeah, definitely. I believe that Sterling is extremely overpriced, and it's a ridiculous amount of money to pay for Raheem Sterling, especially since he didn't even have the best of seasons
last season.
Last year, yeah.
Exactly. It is this whole English thing again. The fact that the prices are inflated. About 10 million, I think QPR received, which isn't bad for them. Back in the Championship, they've just got relegated and they received 10 million. A lovely Christmas present, even though it's not Christmas. So yeah, first one, they've got that. Then they've got Patrick Roberts, which is clearly a signing for 12 million, which was to get the English quota. And he is quite clearly going to probably sit on the bench and do absolutely nothing for them, which is really disappointing because he is a top player. 12 million is a lot of money for him, though.
Definitely, I think they've. Well, why him? That's what I want to know.
Yeah,
all the young sort of English players they could get, and especially for that amount of money. Why Patrick Roberts?
Who knows? Who knows? Your guess is as good as mine. Surely you'd rather have tried to keep hold of James Milner a little bit more.
Exactly, because he's a solid player. He does the job.
Fabian Delph, 8 million. I think that's a good signing personally.
Yeah.
And like I think it was Geordie said the other day, I can personally see him playing as well in the team. I know people are laughing and joking about him being on the bench, and I originally was, but when you look at the City's options, obviously you're going to have Yaya Toure one side, but like True Geordie said, Fernando and Fernandinho, they're not really lighting anything up. There's a chance there for Delph to get in the side. Ilnan, I think is his name, 2 million from, God knows why they're signing half the players they do. It's a bit like Chelsea, really. We signed some of the most bizarre players in the world. And then I'm not even going to try and pronounce that name. Falapala, fuck knows. They've tried to sign him as well, or they've signed him.
Let me do something of these. Falpala.
Yeah, great pronunciation. Man United, Morgan Schneiderlin, 25 million. Good signing, fee, good, bad?
He's a quality player,
yeah.
I'll just say that. And he's still relatively young. He's only, 24, 25?
Yeah, I think he's about 24, 25, might be 26, but...
Well, there you go. I feel like it's a good sign, especially for him, especially for Schneiderlin personally. It's a good way to progress your career at a bigger club.
Yeah, he's 25 years of age. So 25 million, I don't think that's a bad sign. I think that's a very good signing. And it was announced with Bastian Schweinsteiger, which makes my blood boil, that they've got him for just 14.4 million. That's criminal. Although he is relatively, he is getting on.
Definitely back after his career, but that's again, he's a passing mastermind.
Memphis Depay, 30 million. Fee's quite extortionate for that, in my opinion. But a good signing again. And then they've got this Darman Mane, who I had no idea who he was until the World Cup. Like many people, 12.7, a bit of a bizarre signing. And yet still, they don't seem to be signing the key area that they need. A centre-back. They're talking about, now they need a striker as well. Where do they, I don't know, Muller, I've heard that. I mean, come on, that's never going to happen, surely.
No, they've said themselves it's not going to happen.
And 70 million, I mean, Muller's an unbelievable player, but is he really worth 70 million? I mean, if Sterling's worth 49, Muller is worth 250 million. So, I think good business at the moment for United. I do still feel that they're missing defenders, I really do.
Obviously, their defensive record was rather poor. Obviously, when you have to play a centre-back lining of Tyler Blackett and Phil Jones.
Well, they even had what's his name, McNair. McNair, that's it, not McManus. McNair last season, and Tyler Blackett is terrible. I don't care what anyone says, he's awful. He's woeful. He would struggle to get in Luton Town's team, in my opinion. He is terrible. Then we got Newcastle, who have all of a sudden started doing a bit of business. They're trying to sign the centre-back from Anderlecht. I think that's pretty much done. Mitrovic, or how do you say his name? Mitrovic. Great signing, 13 million. A bit of a live wire, supposedly. And then Wijnaldum as well. Again, a good signing. About 15 million, I think that is.
These signs they've made, actually, they're quality.
But I still think, again, a bit like Man United, they need defenders. And they haven't as of yet got any. Moving on to Norwich City, we will skip them as we spoke about them earlier on the video. Southampton, Jordi Classy. I think that is a class signing. Yeah, I knew you were. Hence the reason why I nicked it. 8.4 million. We then got this the guy that I used to have in my Spurs career mode for 5 million for Malaga. I don't think that's a bad signing. Then they've got this Martina. Is that how I assume that's how you pronounce the name? Cedric Soares. I can't pronounce anybody's name. And Martin Stecklenburg, which is a bit of a bizarre signing. Good business from the Saints or not?
I definitely think the classy signing is probably one of the better signings I've seen as well in this window, because obviously he's young, he's very, very good. Basically, there's not really much else I can say. He's very good. And, that's one of the best signings I've seen in the window. So
yeah. Again, though, the amount of money they have received over the last 2 seasons is unbelievable. As from a business perspective, it is phenomenal. Schneidlin and Klein, that's raised nearly 40 million this season. Phenomenal stuff. And then, are Klein and Schneidlin going to be a big impact, or do you think the signings they've made have kind of sort of?
Right, here's the thing. Southampton are a team.
They've also lost over Toby. I can't say his name.
Alderweireld.
Correct.
That's controversial.
That is controversial, but they've lost him as well. So there's kind of 3 players they've lost. So continue with what you're saying.
I feel like Southampton is a team that is obviously considering last season they lost top players in Lallana, Lambert, and was that it? No, they lost
Lallana, Callum Chambers.
That's Chambers and
There was someone else.
They lost players like that. Yes, I can't quite remember.
No, I've completely forgot. Lambert, did you say that?
No, I said Lambert.
Fuck only knows who it was, but I see what you're saying.
Obviously after that people thought
Adam Lallana.
I said that.
Oh, you said Adam Lallana. Okay, yeah,
But,
continue.
They obviously they lost them, and everyone thought, they're up for getting relegated, I reckon. And then look what they did this season.
Well,
I feel like Southampton are a team that thrive under this sort of situation. So
yeah. Well, I mean, I was always found it hilarious when people said that Southampton were going to get relegated. I knew, and I know you'll say I'm lying, but I said it on videos. I knew they'd have a good season. I knew the signings they've made were top quality. I didn't know they'd have as good season as they did, but I knew they wouldn't be anywhere near the relegation. I think they'll have another good season. I really do. Moving on to Stoke City. The signing of the summer, Glenn Johnson to Stoke City. Unbelievable deal. Forget Cabaye, forget Patrick Bamford, forget Class A, forget them all. Glenn Johnson, by far the best deal.
should be England captain.
He should, certainly. They've also bought the centre-back from Bayer Leverkusen, undisclosed. Good signing. They've bought... Jesus, Harry, can you try and pronounce some of these names? I'm woeful.
Alright, so the centre-back from Leverkusen was Wolscheid.
Yeah.
This Hanover sign is Joselu.
That's a decent attempt.
And then the next one... No, it was correct.
Oh, it was correct, okay. My...
Yeah, and then the one after that is Shea Given.
Yeah. I think I could have done that one. Marco van Ginkel, I think that's a good sign as well. As a Chelsea fan, I'm interested to see how well he does. Whether he's got I don't know why I'm carrying and holding a bloody pair of scissors around. Whether he does well or not, I think will have a big factor of whether he's going to have a future at the club. I think it's a big season for him. I think good signing for Stoke, though. And then, they've signed some other players that I've never heard of personally. Well, but I've heard of the Barcelona player, but not sort of anything major. They've lost Begovic and Zonzi, which is a big one in my opinion.
I thought it was quality.
7 million to Sevilla. I think that's a big loss for them. Sunderland, not my favourite club in the world. Adam Matthews to Celtic, £2 million. Decent signing. Coates, is that how you say his name?
Coates.
Yeah. Liverpool, undisclosed. Kabul to Sunderland. I don't rate Kabul at all. I really don't.
We were making jokes when this. Me and you were cracking jokes at each other when this came out.
We were. I'm not sure that that's a good sign. But Jeremy from Jermaine from Dynamo Kiev. I think that's a good signing.
Yeah, definitely.
And are they linked with someone else at the moment? Have I just dreamt that?
They must be.
I may have dreamt that. I'm thinking that there's one player that they've been linked with, which would be a good great signing. Anyway, Swansea. Andre Ayew, free. Obviously, his brother is going to Aston Villa, or so it seems. Great signing for free. Unbelievable. We've then got, you can say his name. I know these players, I just cannot pronounce them. from St Etienne for 3.5 million. I think he used to be Kurt Zuma. Him and them two used to be like a centre back partnership. I don't know that off the top of my head, but I believe that is the case. Eder as well, good signing. And then another couple of signings who I don't think will really feature too much. Moving on to Tottenham. Toby, I cannot say this guy's name. Just say it. Alderweireld. Or Alderweireld, however you want to say it. Undisclosed, a very controversial signing, but a good signing nonetheless for Tottenham.
Aren't Southampton going to court about that?
Yeah, but I think that's all been sorted out. I don't think they're going to pursue it. Kevin Wimmer, from Cologne, fee believed to be in the region of 4 million. Don't think that's a bad signing. Kieran Trippier as well for Tottenham. I don't think they've done bad business, but I still think they need some extra players. Paulinho going out for 9.8. Stamboli 6 million to PSG. Capoue to Watford, which is a good sign of 6 million. Jonas Kabul to Sunderland. And now we move on to Watford. Capoue. Please pronounce these names, Harry, for Christ's sake. I know who the next one is, but some of them I've just looked down. I don't think I've been able to pronounce.
I think that's a good sign.
So do I.
And then there's, for fuck's sake, and then there's Valon Barami.
Great signing.
Former West Ham player.
And Lazio, I think, as well. Or Napoli. Napoli, I think, and Napoli and Lazio.
Yeah. And then there's Holibath from Roma. I don't know who that is.
No, no, right.
Miguel Britos, who I know.
That's a good signing.
Yes.
Someone that I think Norwich should have gone for, personally, if he was available.
Yeah. Jose Gerardo from Moscow. I don't know who that is.
No.
Vidro, we both know who that is.
Yeah, obviously he's a permanent catch of that.
Nyom, I don't know who that is either.
No.
Prodl, I know.
Sorry. His name just makes me laugh.
I know who that is, but I
Yeah.
don't know why they bought him.
No. And then
Malskis from Bucharest.
great signing. Moving on. I think good business from Watford though. Moving on. It's been an extremely long episode. West Brom, McLean, that only signing. I don't rate that signing at all. But they're linked with Lambert. They're linked with Adrian Ramos from Borussia Dortmund. Do you believe? Whether that will come to anything, who knows? West Ham United, who I think have done some of the best business in the summer. Ogbonna, 7.9 million. And then for me, and I know we keep saying it in this episode, but now for me, the best signing of the summer, Payat.
Yeah, well, I take back what I said about Delafrey and whatever, the other one who I said.
Yeah.
Because Payat was quality signing, I think.
Another loan for Carl Jenkinson as well. Good deal there. The guy who always transfers to Chelsea on career mode, he signed as well. Then another guy who I'm not even going to try to pronounce, and then obviously Randolph from...
Hold on. This Lanzini bloke,
Yeah.
I swear Al Jazeera is a news network for, like, Arabian people.
I think you may be correct. Perhaps they have a football team as well. I don't know.
Maybe.
Stuart Downing, 5.5 to Middlesbrough. Credit to him for going back to his old club. Taking it, I think Middlesbrough are going to do very, very well, and I think they will get promoted. For me, they're the favourites for promotion. We are very close to the end. Well, I mean, we've gone over the 30 minutes. We're nearly at 40 minutes now. But pre-season, a lot of people. Okay, essentially the question is, I'll cut to the chase. How much should you draw into pre-season?
Well, there's only certain sort of times that I dabble in pre-season only occasionally. I only go to like the last sort of 3 friendlies before the season starts, really. And then that's the sort of ones that I pay attention to. If you're a West Ham fan, I can understand why you would be, because that's Europa League qualification for them.
Yeah.
But other than that, other than seeing sort of the new big signings, then I don't really see the point. I can see the point, obviously, playing if you're a player.
Yeah.
But not if you're a fan.
But do you understand why fans seem to react in the way they do when teams lose in pre-season, or do you think that's a bit pathetic, or win against a side from? No, I don't.
No, especially when there's new signings. Then obviously it's still sort of the team is gelling together. So.
Youth team, fitness, Usually, you know, for example, and I bring this question up because there are a lot of Chelsea fans after the New York Red Bull games that were bloody crying, and well, not crying, but, you know, having a little meltdown over the result, and I was just sitting there perfectly calm going, it's our first pre-season, fitness was obviously not there. John Terry and Azpilicueta were woeful, and that's fitness reasons. We had a new team that came on after half time. You know, the first half team was very, very good. And I mean, the team, youth-wise, there were a few youth players in it. You know, different systems Mourinho was trying. And at the end of the day, we could have scored 10 goals. We defended terribly, but at the end of the day, it is pre-season. I'm not drawing too much into it, whereas I think a lot of people do overreact in pre-season. Personally, I just think people overreact like bloody Billio. But there we go. So that is pretty much all that she wrote, so to speak, in this episode. We are towards the end of the episode, and Harry, I asked her the question. I'm going to do this at the end of every BPL show episode before the start of the season. And it is at this current precise moment in time, and it is subject to change. Who, in order, do you think top 4-wise this season?
Right, I'm going to say again, Chelsea at the top, like I said last season.
Obviously.
Then I think below them, Manchester United.
Oh.
I think will just be edged out by Chelsea.
Oh, so you think they're going to be right up there?
Yeah.
Whoa.
The signings they've made have been quality. Third, Manchester City. And fourth, Arsenal.
Right, I'm going to go for Chelsea, champions, obviously. Manchester City second. Man United third. And I mean, I think it will be very, very close. As for Man United, I think the whole top 4 will be really quite close. And Arsenal fourth for me.
Okay, well, we'll see who's right. And if I'm right, you buy me Jaffa cakes.
Yeah, but I mean, it might all change. I think I've changed my predictions this week from last week. I think I had Arsenal coming second, or a couple of weeks ago. But no, it's all changed now. As for relegation, actually not in order, just the 3 teams to get relegated.
Watford.
Yep.
Bournemouth.
Yep.
And Sunderland.
I'm going to go Watford, Sunderland and Leicester. So that brings to an end an episode. That has been fucking long. Thanks, Harry, for coming on and joining the ride. We've done a lot of the going through transfers and giving us your thoughts on that. I hope you have enjoyed the episode. We'll be back to kind of the normal kind of chat about random shit next episode. It has been a kind of special episode just going through transfers. And yeah, new series starting on this channel in the next few days. But thanks for watching from whatever channel you're on. And from me and Harry, it's thanks for watching and goodbye.